Yes, I'd like to nominate Chris Bowring as chairman.
And I'll second that.
Right, thank you very much, Luciane, and welcome to everybody of this application for new premises licence for Henley Swim. Can I just ask whether any members any member has a declaration of interest?
No.
Fine. And I'm not sure who's here with us virtually, but if we can introduce ourselves, I'm Councillor Chris Bowring. I represent Woking Without Ward, and I'm chairing the meeting. Sarah.
I am Councillor Sarah Kerr, and I represent Evandon's Ward.
And I'm Bill Soane, and I represent London Ward in Woodley.
Thank you. And who else have we got here?
I'm Juliet Hume. I'm representing Henley Swim.
Thank you, Juliet.
And my colleague Jeremy, I think, is on his way. I know he's been in the meeting, so I'm sure he'll join any moment.
What's his name, sorry?
Jeremy Laming.
Jeremy. Are we okay using first names?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a licensing officer here.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Karen Court, and I'm the licensing officer representing the licensing team this morning. Thank you, Chairman.
And Neil, I believe you're here.
Yes, I'm Chair. My name's Neil Allen. I'm the legal advisor to the panel.
And Luciane. And have I missed anybody out? Anybody else? If not, welcome to everybody.
Jeremy's just
sorry. I've just arrived. Apologies for being late. Okay. Russell. Jeremy Laming. I'm the director of Open Water Swimming Limited.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Everybody's very welcome. And let's then move to the agenda. So the agenda is on page 5. I'll just outline the procedure and reaffirm the only information relevant to representations can be considered, and that such information must be relevant to the licensing objectives. I confirm that all parties, I hope all parties understand this. The 4 licensing objectives are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. Now, this is a slightly unusual hearing because I believe an agreement's been reached with the 4 interested parties. So continuing on with the agenda, the licensing officer, Karen, could you, perhaps it's not necessary to go through the entire report, but could you update us to where we are and if we have indeed reached an agreement with the interested parties, please?
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. And yes, you've summarised exactly what I was just going to say. Obviously, this morning's hearing is for you to determine the application for a new premises licence made by Henley Swim for their events. As I say, I won't go through in great detail. On pages 7 to 10 of your agenda, you have my summary report, which outlines the application procedure and what's happened prior, and also the representations attached to that as well. So you've got those for reference. As you can see, there were no issues from either of any of the responsible authorities, but we received objections from 4 residents. I know that you've now been circulated the update email, which Luciane kindly circulated to everyone yesterday. What happened was last Friday, we started to come to an agreement. And what I would just like to do is I'd just like to read out the agreement for you, obviously for Luciane's benefit as well, and just so that we know exactly what has been proposed and agreed. The agreement is that there should be a planning meeting every year which incorporates the SAG with a ward councillor and a representative of the parish council participating, and a subsequent wash-up meeting with the same participants. So that is the agreement that was reached on Friday. Where we then got to was we then needed full agreement from all 4 people who'd made the representations. We needed them to confirm 3 things. Firstly, that they were happy with this agreement that had been reached. Secondly, that on the basis of that agreement, they continued to confirm that they withdrew their representation. And thirdly, and really importantly, is that they all agreed that a hearing was not necessary. So we needed all of that from the 4 objectors and also from the applicants, from Julia and from Jeremy. Pleased to confirm that on Friday we had an agreement from the applicant. We had agreement from 1 person at that stage. Over the weekend and through to yesterday, we then had 2 more agreements. So we had 3 residents who were all in agreement. Unfortunately, we did not quite meet the deadline, as Neil can clarify if you need the legal process explained. There is a deadline, a cut-off of 24 hours before the hearing, during which all representations must be resolved and withdrawn. If not, we are required legally to go ahead with the hearing. Is there anything you want to add to that, Neil, at this point?
Chair, if I may just very briefly, yes, that's correct. It's a combination of the hearings regulations and the guidance makes it absolutely clear that unless the representations have been withdrawn 24 hours before, then the hearing must go ahead, and hence we are here today.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Perhaps Juliet and Jeremy, can you confirm that you have withdrawn your? I know you're only 2, I think, of the interested. Oh no, sorry, you're not. No. Sorry, beg your pardon. No, we haven't got any interested parties here. So, Neil, in view of what Karen said, I don't think there's any need to carry on further with the hearing, and I think we're rather obliged to, as there are no objections, to grant the premises licence.
Well, Chair, and I presume from that you and the other members of the panel are satisfied that the application is appropriate in terms of the 4 licensing objectives.
Any members to come in? Slightly straight from the agenda here.
Well, it's unusual circumstances. I certainly have no objections and would be happy awarding a licence. You're on mute, Bill.
Come on. Yes, I agree with what Sarah said, and I'm quite happy to grant the licence.
Chair, if I may as well, just be useful just to wrap things up to make sure that Juliet and Jeremy agree that that is the wording that that they're prepared to agree to as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Just clarification I'd like is who is responsible for arranging that meeting? Does that fall to us to make sure with you that we find a date for this, both the SAG meeting you would normally set a date for, I think, but the wash up as well?
I think this the agreement you've got is actually outside the premises license. It's
okay.
In addition to it, so I suspect, Neil, that's something we can't really comment on here.
I suspect not. I mean, that is what the agreement says. I think in terms of the SAGs, Karen might be able to correct me, but I understand that they are organised by officers. So I think it's a question of making sure that obviously the applicants and the other parties as part of the agreement are invited to that. I think the wash up sounds to me like it's something extra, and that would be for the applicants and the interested parties to arrange.
Okay.
Is that correct, Karen?
Thank you, Neil. Yes, I agree with that. The SAG obviously will be arranged by the council and licensing, and yeah, I think again, if we can perhaps just document that, you know, the wash-up meeting will be then arranged by the applicant, just so that everybody is quite clear on going with this.
Did they include a borough councillor?
It says the ward councillor.
It's ward councillor.
Does that mean that means the borough councillor? Yeah. Okay.
And the parish council as well.
Yeah, I got parish council. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm just trying to do this properly now. I think, unless anyone else has got anything to say, I think we can conclude the public part of the meeting. We'll have a formal chat amongst ourselves, and we'd rather jump the gun, I suppose, but we'd let you have the result in 5 working days, if that's correct. So, if no one else has anything to say, I'll thank you all for coming, and have a nice day.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.